So, welcome to My Two Cents. My name is Chris Davis. I'm a keto carnivore coach. Today I'm going to explain how I large batch prepare for breakfast, specifically steak and eggs. My husband has decided that he really likes the steak part of the steak and eggs breakfast. So it's not really that complicated, but rule number one is you do need to make sure you have enough freezer space. If you're gonna large prep, you gotta have somewhere to put it. So I have made that mistake in the past, so hopefully you'll learn from my error. But basically I purchased 18 pounds of tri-tip steak from Costco. It was $8.99 a pound. Brought it home next day. I basically put it on the counter for 2 to 3 hours. I bring it up closer to room temperature. I douse it with Lowry sea salt on both sides, throw it in the oven, 425 for 45 minutes. My oven, when I use all three trays, it does take a little bit longer to cook food, so be aware of what your oven does and how you need to cook it at your house. So while that was cooking, I got a big pan. I took 84 eggs and a half a carton of egg whites, and I scrambled them up. I only include the egg whites because I had them and I need to use them, and so why not just throw them in there. Scrambled all that up. I set that aside. While that is cooking, I got 3 pounds of beef bacon, which I do purchase online. Cut it up, sliced it, put it in a pan, got it all grilled up. If you can't afford beef bacon, because beef bacon is more expensive, it's really like thinly cut steak, you can use pork bacon bits. My intestines just don't seem to like pig very much, so I opt for beef bacon, but you know what? Go with what you can afford. So I get that all cooked up. I set that aside. It is very important to make sure that you allow everything to cool down to room temperature. Okay, if you don't, a lot of times the eggs will actually turn gray in the freezer, and you don't want that. It also gets mushy, and you don't want that either. So put everything on a cooling rack, you get it all cooled off, and you'll go from there. So that usually takes about 30 to 45 minutes for everything to cool off. And once it's cooled off, you're ready to go. So what I do is, yes, I do use a food scale, mainly because I want to make sure that the serving sizes are relatively the same. So we take at least 4 ounces of tri-tip steak, right? Because you're never going to get exactly 4 ounces every single time. And so you take 4 ounces of tri-tip steak. I add in, for my husband, a cup of eggs. For me, it's 3/4 cup eggs, a 1/4 cup of bacon bits, and then a 1/2 cup of Mexican cheese. And that's it. And then you rinse and repeat, and you continue that pattern until you run out of something. And in this case, I ran out of the eggs and the bacon. So I actually had 4 pounds of tri-tip steak left. So I just threw that in the freezer in a bag, and we'll just munch on that, or I'll use it during my next meal prep cycle. So that's it. So when you're looking at this, and I'm just going to scroll down here on my page real quick because I wanted to make sure that I gave you the information of how much does this cost, right? Because people are like, oh my God, I can't afford it. It's so expensive. And yeah, maybe you can't afford tri-tip. Okay, I just started buying it 6 months ago. I couldn't afford it before that. Before that, it was ground hamburger because that's what I could buy. That's what I could afford. So in total, I spent $204.64 on these groceries, and that equates to $7.30 per meal, and that is good for 3 weeks for 2 people. So if you live by yourself and you make that batch, you just made 4 breakfasts a week for 6 weeks. So it becomes totally worth it to spend, I think I spent 2.5 hours making it, mainly because you got to wait for everything to cool down, and honestly that takes forever, it seems like. But you could totally have breakfasts prepared for you. Again, you got to make sure that you have a place to put them. So try it, give it a go. See how you like it. I've been playing with the formula, right? I make anywhere from 84 to 120 eggs. Sometimes I put sausage in it for my husband. I can't do sausage, it's too processed. But he does sausage. Sometimes I'll add ground beef, even if we're having steak and eggs. So experiment with it, try it, give it a go, comment, let me know if you have done it, if you're gonna try it, and what the results are, good, bad, or the ugly, right? And so there you have it. So for $7.30, we have 3 weeks worth of breakfast. It's worth it to me. Hopefully it'll be worth it to you. I thank you for watching. I hope you'll consider subscribing, and have a blessed day.